The phone rang at 3:17 in the afternoon, an hour when life is supposed to stay ordinary. Nothing permanent is meant to break at that time of day. That was why my chest seized the instant I saw my father's name appear on the screen. He never called me during daylight hours, never had, not once since I became an adult. I answered, and his voice sounded reduced to essentials, calm but sharp, as if every word had been carefully measured. "Is your wife at home?" That question didn't fit a normal afternoon. "No. She's at work." A pause followed, thin, deliberate, uncomfortable. "Go into your daughter's room," he said. "Look underneath her bed. Pay close attention. And don't let your wife know if you find anything." My throat tightened. "Dad, what's going on?" He drew a slow breath, the kind people take when even breathing feels painful. "I don't know exactly what you'll see. I only know where she never thought you'd look. Call me after." The line went silent. There was no explanation. No comfort. Just an instruction that felt heavier than a threat. I walked down the hallway, every footstep louder than it should have been. The house didn't feel calm, it felt watchful, like something had already occurred and was waiting to be discovered. My daughter's room carried the scent of lavender spray mixed with crayons. Her artwork was neatly pinned to the corkboard. Her shoes were aligned against the wall. Her bed was made with unnatural precision. I lowered myself to the floor. Instead of racing, my heartbeat slowed. That frightened me. I didn't want to look. I looked anyway. The instant my fingers brushed the corner of the box, something inside me clicked into place. It wasn't surprise, it was recognition. As if my body had known this truth long before my thoughts were willing to accept it. The box was small, wooden, carefully polished. It didn't belong there. My daughter shoved toys behind the couch, not secrets beneath her bed. Inside was a phone. Not hers. Not mine. A spare. Immaculate. Too clean. Beneath it lay printed photographs. My wife stood beside a man I didn't recognize. Restaurants. Parking lots. Public parks. A motel corridor. There were no kisses. Nothing graphic. None were needed. In every image, the space between them was already gone. The way his hand rested at her waist showed habit, not accident. This wasn't an impulsive mistake. It was planned. Repeated. Practiced. What cut deepest wasn't the betrayal itself. It was where she had hidden it. She placed her second life inside our daughter's room because she knew I would never search there. That space was guarded by trust, and she used that trust as cover. I stayed seated longer than I should have. Then I stood. I didn't confront her. I didn't call my father back yet. I turned the phone on. 4 digits. She always used birthdays, not mine, not our daughter's, her mother's. The screen unlocked instantly. Messages. Images. Location histories. Hotel reservations. Financial transfers. An entire hidden existence, neatly archived and concealed beneath a child's bed. For the next 7 days, I said nothing. I observed. I listened. I collected details, dates, routines, habits. Silence became my sharpest weapon. Every evening, she came home and kissed my cheek. I returned the gesture exactly as I always had. Predictability lowers defenses. When nothing appears different, people stop being careful. During that same week, I arranged divorce paperwork quietly and professionally. Not driven by anger, driven by clarity. Then the DNA results arrived. The envelope was slim, white, sterile. She was biologically mine. I waited for relief. It never came. What I felt instead was confirmation that I was leaving, not because of genetics, but because of truth. I sat with the paper in my hands, neither furious nor relieved. I thought about every bedtime story, every night spent awake during fevers, every time she called me dad without hesitation. Leaving didn't mean abandoning her. Staying would have meant teaching her that dishonesty is acceptable if it's wrapped in affection, and that was a lesson I refused to pass on. That evening, I sat at the dining table. One chair beside me remained empty. The moment my wife saw the folder, she froze. "Is everything okay?" I slid it across the table. I offered no explanation. Her hands trembled as she opened it. When she looked up, her expression was already unraveling. "Who told you?" I didn't respond. "What are you going to do?" I let the silence speak first. Then I asked a single question. "How long?" She collapsed into confession, everything spilled out. The affair. The lies. The fear of losing the life she had constructed on deception. I stood and placed the folder just beyond her reach. "I've already sent copies to the people who need them." The color drained from her face. She begged. "Too late. You don't ask for forgiveness after years of deliberate dishonesty." I packed my belongings that night without drama. Before leaving, I kissed my daughter's forehead as she slept. She was innocent. She always would be. At the door, my wife whispered, "What am I supposed to tell people?" I turned back once. "Tell them whatever helps you sleep. I'm finished living your story."